One of the most beloved radio comedies was Our Miss Brooks, which ran on CBS Radio from 1948 to 1957. Many of those scripts were adapted for an Emmy Award-winning television series, which ran from 1952 to 56. And then I'm told there was actually an Our Miss Brooks movie. Now, I've never actually seen that, but I understand that in that film, Miss Brooks finally gets to marry Mr. Boynton. So I'm going to have to try to find that film. So what can you say about the cast of Our Miss Brooks? It was just incredible. The creator-writer was Al Lewis. Of course, you had Eve Arden. Gail Gordon was the cranky Mr. Conklin. Richard Crenna was Walter Denton. Jeff Chandler was the clueless Mr. Boynton. Jane Morgan was Mrs. Davis. The show consistently won reader polls, and Eve Arden won applause not only for her comic acting, but she was also recognized by many professional teaching associations. They appreciated her portrayal of the hardworking, dedicated, and of course underpaid high school teacher. She was actually made an honorary member of the National Teachers Education Association, and in 1952 won an award from the Teachers College of Connecticut Alumni Association. But then after years of being a high school teacher, Eve Arden got promoted to principal in a very famous movie in 1978. Does anybody know the movie? Grease, right, she was Principal McGee. And of course, that movie and play has its roots right in the Chicagoland area, in that its co-creator was Jim Jacobs, who attended Taft High School on the northwest side of Chicago. So I hope you all have your pencils sharpened and your notebooks ready, because class is about to begin.
Palmolive soap, your beauty hope, and Luster cream shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. Our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School, is as sociable as the next teacher, especially if the next teacher happens to be Mr. Philip Boynton. But unfortunately, Mr. Boynton, who teaches biology at Madison, is a rather shy individual.
Yes, indeed. For a fellow who spends so much time studying life, he certainly manages to get very little in him. Of course, there are rumors around the school that I'm that way about Mr. Boynton. Now, I don't know exactly what that way means, but if feeling that way means feeling this way, then I guess I'm that way about Mr. Boynton. Anyway, last week he accepted my invitation to invite me to the faculty dance Saturday night. And so bright and early Saturday morning, in fact, I asked one of my pupils, Walter Denton, to drive me down to the beauty parlor in his jalopy. Unlike the new Hudson, Walter's car isn't one you step down into. His car, most people back away from. It's a very streamlined little job. No windows, no top, and no windshield. All in all, it's the coldest hot rod in town.
If it's too cool for you, Miss Brooks, I can put up the top.
The top? Where is that?
In the back on the floor.
No thanks, Walter. It doesn't matter how my hair looks now. Antoine will change me into something believable. I appreciate your giving me this lift today, Walter, though.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Miss Brooks. A pleasure and a privilege, because I'm so fond of you as a person and a teacher. You know, that's the one thing about Madison High. They sure got some swell teachers. Now take Mr. Boynton.
Granted.
He sure is tops. I ran into him the other night at the movies. Incidentally, he was with another member of the faculty, Miss Enright.
Please, Walter, not so soon after breakfast.
Oh, I forgot. You and Miss Enright aren't exactly stuck on each other.
That, Walter, is an understatement. Now, let's just forget about her, shall we?
Sure. I'll be happy to forget about her. I never think about her much anyway.
Fine. Walter,
Yeah?
was she sitting close to Mr. Boynton?
Who?
The lady we decided to forget about.
Well, I can practically give you a blow-by-blow because I sat right behind them in the movie.
And what's your report, G2?
Nothing.
Nothing.
They were so dull. I spent half the time watching the picture.
You should have asked for your money back.
Of course, she did whisper a couple of things into his ear, but I couldn't hear what they were very well. She has a funny way of purring when she talks.
There's nothing funny about her. To her, purring comes naturally.
Of course, she tried to hold Mr. Boynton's hand once or twice, but she didn't quite make it.
Why not?
Most of the time he had it in a bag of popcorn.
Well, it would serve her right if she got salt all over her manicure. Here's the beauty parlor, Walter. Would it be convenient to pick me up in a couple of hours?
Oh, sure. I gotta get a haircut anyhow. And I usually go to Barney's barbershop down the street. I was thinking of getting a butch haircut this time.
Well, from what I've seen of the kids who get their haircut at Barney's, he can butch up any kind of a haircut. Hello, Antoine.
Well, if it isn't Miss Brooks. Long time no see, like the man says.
What man?
Oh, there you go. You're not in my shop 2 minutes, and you're pulling my leg. But I don't care. I'm delighted to see you at any time. You're such a challenge to a beautician.
Challenge?
Yes. You see, you come into my shop so infrequently, I have to start from scratch each time. Of course, you do have a load of natural beauty.
Thanks. Loads.
But then, so does a rose bush. And even it, with all its natural loveliness, must be properly and frequently cared for in order to retain that beauty. Its soil must be irrigated, its roots watered, its leafy branches gently sprinkled.
Well, don't just stand there. Turn the hose on me.
Before I begin, before I assign you to a booth, tell me, Miss Brooks, what prompted you to come in this morning?
Oh, it's very simple, Antoine. There's a faculty dance in Madison High tonight, and I thought it would be nice to look like a human being.
All the big shots they bring to Antoine. Well, no matter. It's a feeble artist indeed who cannot rise above his subject. I shall make you my masterpiece. All I ask in return is that you promise to visit Antoine's once a week.
Aren't you forgetting something? I'm a school teacher. You know, it isn't an accident that we of the faculty have a faculty for always looking like the faculty. Beauty parlors are a luxury we can rarely afford.
Well, apparently that doesn't apply to all teachers. One of my best patrons is a teacher. In fact, she has an appointment here in a few minutes. A Miss Enright. Do you know her?
Yes, we both teach English at Madison.
Ooh, then you and Miss Enright have something in common.
I suppose you could call him that, yes.
Oh, she's a wonderful person. Very active in the Parent Teachers Association and in all sorts of civic clubs. What do you think of her?
She's fine. Good teacher.
Confidentially, I don't like her either. But even though I should be grateful for the new customers I get through her connections, I can't help feeling she's very overbearing. That's my honest opinion, and when it comes to people, I believe that honesty is the best policy.
Well, here I am, Antoine.
Miss Enright, how wonderful to see you.
Your policy just lapsed.
Why, Miss Brooks, what are you doing in a beauty parlor?
Oh, I I just thought I'd let Antoine do a little lily gilding.
I haven't started yet. I'm going to make Miss Brooks look like a thing of beauty.
Is there time? This is Saturday, you know. We have to be back to school by Monday.
Oh, I'll make it. Antoine's going to put more men on the job.
Well, if you'll excuse me for a moment, I'll arrange booth 3 for you, Miss Enright.
Oh, do that, Antoine. Miss Brooks, now that we're alone, there's something I think you should know.
That you were at the movies with Mr. Boynton last night?
What? How did... Were you there too?
No, just my emissary.
I must admit, Miss Brooks, I thought you'd be a little more upset about it.
Upset? Me? Because Mr. Boynton chooses to go out with another English teacher? Of course I'm not upset. In fact, I had quite a laugh over it.
A laugh?
I thought I'd split my infinitive. You see, I happen to know that Mr. Boynton once heard the expression, let's live a little.
Yes?
So that's what he does. He lives as little as possible. No, I'm not worried about what Mr. Boynton does when he's not with me.
Look, Miss Brooks, I like to do things in an open and above-board manner. I'm going to lay my cards on the table.
Well, good. Take them out of your sleeve and deal. What's the first card?
Just this. I know you've booked Mr. Boynton for the faculty dance tonight. But just remember, there's always tomorrow. And I don't give up easily.
Well, good for you, Salty Nails.
Don't underestimate me, my dear. The next time Mr. Boynton and I walk down the middle aisle, it may not be in a theater.
Be sure to invite me to the wedding. And Miss Enright, if you ever become a mother, remember, I'd love one of the kittens.
Ready for you now, Miss Enright?
Yes, coming, Antoine. I'll see you and Mr. Boynton at the dance, Miss Brooks.
I'll be looking forward to it with considerable revulsion.
Oh, booth 3. Here it is.
Sit right down here, Miss Enright.
Antoine, before you do anything for me, I want you to take care of Miss Brooks.
But your appointment...
I'll wait. There's a certain way I want you to take care of Miss Brooks. First of all, I want you to comb her hair up in the back and give her bangs in the front.
But that wouldn't suit her face at all.
Exactly. Then I want you to make sure that she has pounds of makeup on, plenty of rouge, eyeshadow, everything.
But she won't like that.
Neither will Mr. Boynton. I know his type. And whatever you do, don't let Miss Brooks look into a mirror. Tell her, tell her to wait for her first reaction from a member of the opposite sex.
But Miss Enright, suppose she doesn't
Oh,
want
she'll agree to anything you suggest. She knows you're an expert beautician.
Well, then, how can I betray her faith in me? I feel like a traitor, a despicable traitor.
Antoine, dozens of women patronize this shop at my suggestion. Oh, and at my suggestion, they go elsewhere. Now, are you going to give Miss Brooks the works or not?
Well, Benedict Arnold made a nice living for years. Well, there we are, all finished. Remember now, no mirrors, Miss Brooks.
All right, Antoine, if you say so. I'll leave it up to the public. Oh, and there's Walter, parked as usual right in front of a fire plug. Well, here I am. Let's go.
Sorry, lady, I'm waiting for Miss Brooks.
Take another look, Walter. It's me.
Holy cow, get in quick. I'll take you to the receiving hospital. Or better yet, I'll give you first aid. I'm the Red Cross chairman of our class, you know.
Well, why do I need first aid?
Your mouth, it's all cut.
Oh, you're just not used to seeing me with lipstick on. Start the car, Walter. I didn't intend to stay so long. Mrs. Davis will be wondering what happened to me.
When she sees you, she'll still be wondering. Gosh, that hair comb, those bangs.
What's wrong with these bangs? Are they too long?
Well, in all the time you've known me, Miss Brooks, have I ever consciously been fresh or tried to hurt your feelings?
No, Walter, never.
Then I can answer your question honestly. They're not long enough. They're frustrating, Miss Brooks.
What are you talking about, Walter?
Well, they start out all right, but then when they just get going, boom, they stop right at the tip of your nose.
What? Oh, that's just a few hairs that were blown out of place in this hopped-up pie plate of yours. How do I look otherwise?
Well, frankly, Miss Brooks, I thought you were more beautiful without all that stuff. I mean, well, gosh, with your natural beauty, you could have been a famous stage actress or even a model or a big movie star. I often wondered what made you become a school teacher anyway.
I couldn't resist the money.
Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, will continue in just a moment. But first, here is Vern Smith.
Regardless of age, skin type, or previous beauty care, doctors prove you too may win a lovelier complexion with Palmolive soap.
But to win this lovelier complexion, you must stop improper cleansing. Instead, use Palmolive the way the doctors advise.
36 doctors, leading skin specialists, advised using Palmolive soap this way for 1,285 women with all types of skin. Young, old, dry, oily, normal. And using Palmolive soap alone, 2 out of 3 won lovelier complexions. Oily skin looked less oily, dull, drab skin wonderfully brighter. Coarse-looking skin appeared finer. Here's what the doctors advised.
Wash your face with Palmolive soap 3 times a day. Massage with Palmolive Wonderful Beauty Lather for 60 seconds each time to get Palmolive's full beautifying effect. Then rinse.
Look for improvement within 14 days, for doctors prove this way using Palmolive alone really works. So get Palmolive soap and start today to win a lovelier complexion. And ladies, enter the $100,000 49 Gold Rush contest. The makers of Palmolive soap offer $49,000 first prize and over 4,900 other prizes. Get entry blanks and complete rules from your dealer now. You may win a fortune in cash.
Well, Walter took me home from Antoine's. As my new bangs and I entered the front door, my landlady, Mrs. Davis, came into the living room. Hello, Mrs. Davis.
Well, how do you do, madam? If you're looking for Miss Brooks, she isn't in. I'm her landlady.
Well, maybe I can refresh your memory. Good morning, Mrs. Davis. I can't pay the rent until next week.
Connie Brooks? Where in the world did you get that makeup?
Antoine's beauty parlor.
You didn't leave much there, did you? Although I suppose it is attractive to a man.
By the way, has he called?
Mr. Boynton, you mean? Not this morning, Connie. And I know why you didn't get any calls last night either.
Why?
I discovered our phone wasn't working, but I fixed it about an hour ago.
You fixed it?
Yes, I went downtown and paid the bill. You know, Connie, as one gets used to your new look, it's not half bad.
Well, I should hope not. After spending 3 hours in a hot booth, the least I can expect is that some... I'll get it. Hello?
Well, hello, Miss Brooks. This is Mr. Boynton. I thought I'd better call to ask what time I can pick you up tonight. I wouldn't want to barge in without giving you ample time to get ready.
Oh, you can come over any time, Mr. Boynton. It never takes me more than a few minutes to fix up.
Well, then I'll be over about 7. You know, I tried to reach you several times last night, but your phone was out of order.
Yes, I just heard about it.
Well, I was quite disappointed when you didn't answer. But while I was combing some new white mice I've acquired, Miss Enright dropped by and asked me if I wanted to go to the movies.
What did you do with the other mice? I mean, where did you go after the movie? Ice cream parlor?
Oh, no, I was full of popcorn. It's very good at the Paramount.
Yes, I know. Don't they have a slogan that goes, if it's a Paramount picture, it's the best popcorn in town?
Well, I don't know about that, Miss Brooks, but this wasn't a Paramount picture. It was an independent. It was about some girl with a lot of money who wants her sweetheart to quit being a poor songwriter and work in her father's doorknob factory.
Does he?
Well, no, but he writes a big hit song after they separate. And when he has as much money as her father, he asks her to marry him again. And this time she says yes.
I can't understand it.
Me either. You ought to see the girl this fellow proposes to. She's got 2 inches of makeup on. And she wears bangs.
Bangs?
It's the most ridiculous looking getup you ever saw. How any man in his right mind could fall for anybody like that. Well, I won't keep you any longer, Miss Brooks. I'll pick you up at 7. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, I wish I hadn't let Walter go home. He could have taken me back to Antoine's.
I'll get it, Connie. Well, Osgood Conklin, how is Madison's handsome principal today?
Fine, Margaret, fine. As you know, my wife's preparing all the refreshments for the dance tonight, and she'd wondered if you'd be kind enough to help her out with a few sandwiches.
Why, of course, Osgood. Shall I make the same kind of sandwiches I made last time? White fish and peanut butter?
No, thank you. I brought some things.
Hello, Mr. Conklin.
Miss Brooks has been to the hairdresser's, Osgood. Doesn't she look interesting?
Well, I really don't know. It's hard to tell. I can see you all right, Miss Brooks, but how in the world can you see me?
Oh, it's easy, Mr. Conklin. I just blow a little, and there you are. As a matter of fact, I've got to get back to the beauty parlor right away. Do you think you could give me a lift?
Oh, I suppose so, Miss Brooks. And Mrs. Davis, you'll find the ingredients for the sandwiches in this package right here.
All right, Osgood. I'll get started right away. See you later, Connie.
Bye, Mrs. Davis.
Well, come along, Miss Brooks. I'll drop you off. White fish and peanut butter?
As I recall, Mr. Conklin, the beauty parlor is only a couple of blocks past your house, so I won't be taking you too far out of your way.
Oh, that's perfectly all right, Miss Brooks. I hope you'll forgive me for seeming so taken aback when you first came in, but, well, you did look quite unlike a school teacher.
Is that bad?
Oh, on Saturdays, no. In fact, I rather admire a woman who takes the time to enhance her charms. Confidentially, I've been trying to stampede Mrs. Conklin into a beauty salon for years, but she just can't see it. Doesn't believe in powder, rouge, lipsticks, none of the refinements.
What on earth would she want with refinements? She's got you. That is, she's got you.
Excuse me, we're just passing my house. I always honk the horn when I'm in the neighborhood. Gives my wife and daughter a feeling of security. But as you said, Miss Brooks, she's got me. That's the trouble. She doesn't have to patronize beauty shops to hold on to me, and she knows it. Of course, if she had some reason to be jealous of me, jealous. Miss Brooks, do you think that if Martha were
Oh,
jealous...
pardon me, Mr. Conklin, but if you would just pull up here, this is Antoine's.
Where?
It's that little building with the dimple in the door. Thanks for the lift, Mr. Conklin.
You're welcome, Miss Brooks, and we can pursue the topic of my wife's peccadillos at the dance tonight.
Oh, definitely. I'm one of the best peccadillo dancers in town.
Well, that does it, Miss Brooks.
Am I completely plain again, Antoine?
If you were any plainer, you'd fade right into the woodwork.
Yoo-hoo, I'm home, Mrs. Davis.
She should be back any... Oh, wait a minute. She just came in. Come to the phone, Connie. It's Mr. Boynton.
Again? I wonder what he wants now. Thanks, Mrs. Davis. Hello?
Oh, hello, Miss Brooks. Mrs. Davis told me you were at the beauty shop. I was delighted to hear that.
Delighted, Mr. Boynton?
Yes, you see, I was afraid you might misconstrue my remarks about the girl in the movie and think that I disliked all spectacular hairdressings. Actually, the new styles fascinate me.
They do.
Yes. What sort of hairdo did you get, Miss Brooks?
Well, what I got was more of a hair don't. But I'm sure you'll like what I'm going to get again, Mr. Boynton.
Oh, fine. When we walk into that dance tonight, I want those other teachers to really notice you. I've even bought a brand new blue serge suit.
You think it'll fit me?
Ha 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 ha. Now that's a hot one. I'll see you at 7. Goodbye, Miss Brooks.
Goodbye, Mr. Boynton. Well, back to the beauty parlor. You know something, Mrs. Davis?
What, Connie?
In moments like this, I almost wish I were Mrs. Conklin. What am I saying?
I have to be going down to the gym now, Martha. I want to see if it's fixed up properly for the dance tonight.
Very well, dear. Oh, don't forget the keys to your car. They're on the table in the hall. And Osgood, I must say, the car took a lovely polish. I got a glance at it when you were driving past the house with some woman.
Well, I was just... You saw me driving with some other woman, Martha?
Yes, dear, I did.
Well, there's no need to be jealous, of course. But she was quite pretty, don't you think?
I'm sorry, Osgood. I didn't get a very good look at her. I was carrying some cold cuts at the time.
If you must know, she was gorgeous.
The cold cuts were quite popular last year.
Don't evade the issue, Martha. Who was that woman you saw me with this morning?
Oh, I know that joke. That's a hot one.
Oh, I repeat, who was that woman, Martha?
What woman? Oh, in the car with you. Oh, really, Osgood, you drive so many women from the Board of Education around.
This one wasn't from the Board of Education, far from it.
Oh, please, dear. You're leaning against the potato salad.
Why don't you admit it, Martha? You're jealous.
5 loaves of white. That should be enough.
Martha, I said you were jealous.
Yes, dear. Now, where did I put the rye bread?
You're not even listening to me, Martha.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello. Oh, sorry. I mean, hello, Harriet.
Harriet, you've been crying. Is something wrong, dear?
Oh, everything's wrong. Walter Denton told me he had to pick up Miss Brooks. But when I saw him, he was riding around some creature in bangs. I'm going up to my room now, Mother. If Walter calls, just tell him I've taken a slow boat to China.
All right, dear. But after you've brooded a while, please come down and help me find the rye bread.
Oh, Mother!
Now, there's a girl who will make some man a fine wife. Insanely jealous.
Oh, here's the rye bread. I do hope I win the door prize this year.
Don't think I'm past noticing pulchritude, Martha. I'm still a boy at heart. Do you know why I gave that woman a lift in my car? because she had just come from the beauty parlor. You hear me, Martha? I was bedazzled. If it hadn't been for all that powder and that store-bought hair.
Oh, that man of mine wouldn't have gone nowhere, nowhere.
Oh, what's the use?
Hello again, Miss Brooks. Tilly, prepare booth number 4. And now then, Miss Brooks, you said on the phone you wanted something fascinating. So I just decided to give you the famous Antoine Marcel.
Is it really exciting, Antoine?
Exciting? This is the very same coiffure I copy hair by hair from Gorgeous George.
Fine, just give it to me and then I'll wrestle you for the bill.
This ought to be a very successful dance, Miss Brooks. Quite a few people in the gym.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Boynton. And at the sound of the next voice, there will be one people too many.
Oh, there you are. Good evening, Mr. Boynton. The next number is a waltz, Mr. Boynton.
Is it?
Yes, and I'm just dying to waltz.
Well, you do that. Mr. Boynton and I will be right behind you.
Look who just came in. It's Mrs. Conklin, isn't it?
Oh, yes, but in a backless evening gown and an upswept hairdo.
And I thought I was overdone. Alongside of Mrs. Conklin, I look like Carrie Nation after a bad night.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, good evening, Mrs. Conklin.
Hello, Mrs. Conklin.
Don't let me scare you. I got myself up like this to teach Osgood a lesson. I wonder what he'll say when he sees me.
Well, you won't have long to wait. He's coming over right now.
Hello, folks. I see we have a newcomer in our midst, and a very charming one. Osgood Conklin at your service, Miss.
It's Mrs. Conklin.
Well, I'm delighted to make it Mrs. Conklin.
Hello, Osgood.
Martha? What in the world? Your hair, well, if that isn't your face, of all the... You look lovely, my dear. I'm going to have every dance with you tonight. Oh, Boynton.
Yes, Mr. Conklin.
I'd like you to take over my duties as host at the front door, if you please.
But, sir, Miss Brooks and I...
To the door, Boynton.
Yes, sir.
Come along, Martha. If it hadn't been for powder and the store-bought hair, I wouldn't have...
Oh, Miss Enright,
Yes, Miss Brooks.
shall we dance?
Eve Arden as our Miss Brooks returns in just a moment. But first, dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. Tonight, show 'em how much lovelier your hair can look after a luster cream shampoo. Only Luster Cream brings you Kay Donnett's magic formula blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Gives loveliest lather ever in hardest water. Glamorizes your hair as you wash it. Luster Cream, not a soap, not a liquid, but a dainty cream shampoo. Leaves hair fragrantly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen, soft, manageable. Gives new beauty to all hairdos or permanents. 4-ounce jar, $1. Smaller sizes, either tubes or jars. Tonight, try Luster Cream Shampoo and be a dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a luster cream shampoo. And now, once again, here's our Miss Brooks.
Well, Mr. Boynton got away from the door just in time to ask me for the last half of the last dance.
You look lovely tonight, Miss Brooks. I feel I put you through a lot of trouble today.
Oh, it was nothing. Of course, I did lose about 5 pounds, but it was mostly around the scalp.
Attention, attention, please, ladies and gentlemen of the faculty. It is my pleasure at this time to announce the winner of the door prize. She is none other than our Miss Brooks. Congratulations, Miss Brooks.
Thank you, Mr. Conklin.
I know you're all anxious to find out what the door prize is. Well, I have here a ticket, Miss Brooks, entitling you to one free treatment at Anton's Beauty Parlor.
Mr. Conklin, would you tell me one thing?
What's that, Miss Brooks?
Is this for putting on or taking off?
Our Miss Brooks was brought to you by Palmolive Soap and Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair. In tonight's show, Miss Brooks was played to perfection by Ellie Babka. And Nell Brennan was the delightful Mrs. Davis. The stern Mr. Conklin was voiced by Roger Morris. And Judy Marsh was the transformative Mrs. Conklin and also the lovely Palmolive lady. Their daughter, Harriet Conklin, was Sue Godzinski. Mr. Boynton, the man who truly lives a little, was voiced by Jay Summerfield. Andre Dixon portrayed that master of the Marcells, Antoine. The caddy, Miss Enright, was brought to you by Donna Amesmeyer. And I'm Dave Sanchi, and I was the announcer and the Luster Cream crooner.
And I'm Herb Thompson, and I played Vern Smith, the spokesman for Palmolive Soap, Your Beauty Hope. Our sound effects wizard is Marty McNulty, who did double duty as that eternal teenager, Walter Denton. Marty is also a very talented graphic artist who designs our eye-catching flyers. Our expert technical coordinator is Lorenzo Cordova. And now a few words from Donna.
The radio players want to extend a huge thank you to the Riverside Township Board, Richard Tusher, Supervisor, and all the trustees for their continued support of our program. They make all this possible for us, for our audiences, and thanks to them, they keep old-time radio alive and well right here in Riverside Township. So thank you so much. I want to say a huge thank you to Ellie Babka. She's been our director. She's prepared, transcribe most of our scripts. She copies our scripts. She copies those beautiful flyers you see around town. She's our liaison to the township and liaison to the community. She's fabulous. Thank you, Ellie. And I want to say a big thank you, too, to Andre Dixon. Please pick up a flyer on your way out on the table. Andre works hard every month to post the wonderful shows that John and Lorenzo put together. And you can watch our shows in the comfort of your own home or on a computer at www.riversideradio.net. So thank you, Andre. I'd like to welcome up Jay Summerfield. He's going to be our director for the February show, and I'd like to invite him to tell us a little bit more about what he has planned. Jay.
I'm going to try each microphone, see which one works. No. Thanks, Donna. And I think a nice round of applause for Donna Amesmeyer for doing a great job directing our January shows. Well, I want to invite our audience and your friends out there, if you could bring in some more people, that would be great, to attend our next month's shows on Friday, February 22nd, 2013 at 7:30 p.m. right here in the Riverside Township Auditorium. As is our custom, we will be presenting two widely different programs. The first will be The Fall of the House of Usher, a thriller based on the famous story by, right. And it's a good one. It's a good one. This will be followed by a comedy about the antics of Fibber, McGee, and Molly. It's called McGee the Wrestler, and it features all the usual suspects made famous in the McGee series. So I hope you'll join the Riverside Township radio players on Friday, February 22nd at 7:30 p.m. right here in the auditorium. Thanks, and here's Donna.
Thank you, Jay. Really look forward to working with you next month. And again, just thank you so much for sharing your evening with us. Please travel safely, and as Jay said,